with the front end installed on the car. Now, in order to get it to align itself properly, we had to use the clamp to hold the two fenders tight against the nose. And then after that, we have to make sure we align everything so that the two halves of the hood sit on the ridge on the front nose while also meeting up with the body. So that it gives you good panel separation and they sit nice and evenly on the body. Now, if you watched this build from the beginning, you saw that the hood on this side was a little warped when I got it. Just a little hot water and a little flexing, and it sits nice and straight now. So this is a very nice fit. Although I'm seeing a little bit, now this is odd. Seeing that the color on the nose and on the windshield is a little bit darker than what's on the rest of the car. Which is very odd because they were all painted with the same paint. I don't understand that. Well, we'll have to see how it all ends up, see how noticeable that is. If it is, then I may have to repaint that hood and blend these colors in a little better. Didn't really notice that until now. At least in this light, that's the way it looks. Alright, so that may be an issue we may have to deal with later on down the line. But overall, the model is coming out really, really nicely. Here you can see I've installed all of the fittings in the rear. We have the Opal badge, the trunk handle. Here we have the interesting design for the taillights. I decided I was going to leave them a metallic color as opposed to a body color because I just kind of like the way that looks. We still have to install the door handles. Here we have the running boards on this side installed. But overall, it's coming out fantastic. So I have quite a few more details to go. But it's looking really good. I don't know how much that hood coloring is going to bother me, but it's looking really good. Okay, the engine compartment of the Admiral Cabriolet is finally completely finished. I'm not adding anything more to it because if I do, I'll be here forever on this project. You can see all the wiring harnesses, the coolant lines that I've added along with the spark plug wiring to really just busy up what I thought was an overly empty engine compartment. You see the hydraulic reservoir there, like the real car has, whatever that's for, I don't know. But I think it looks really cool the way it is. And you can see that the engine compartment just looks a lot more lively now than it did before. Now we're still going on with the rest of this build. Just have to attach this ornamental piece here that holds the center piece here where the hoods attach. But I am really happy with the way the engine turned out and the entire engine compartment. Okay guys, now we're going to talk about the sun visors. Like I said, every single part of this kit turns up being a kit in itself. The sun visors had great detailing, which allowed me to add the chrome trim around all of the edges, and then I took Model Master's brass and painted the fittings that attach the sun visor to their holders. The sun visors themselves were painted with Model Master's leather. It's a color I really love, and I used all on the rest of the interior, all airbrushed. The next thing I had to install were the sun visor mounts, and don't let this picture fool you, these things are tiny. But even smaller than that are the locks for the convertible folding roof. Holy cow, this is one next to my finger. And this is what the three parts look like attached to the car. On the left, you can see the sun visor, its mount, and the sunroof lock already attached to the header of the windshield. This is a nice close-up look of all three parts. I mean, these things are teeny tiny. Unbelievable. You can barely see them. Now, this is the visor and the visor mount assembly without the sunroof lock on it. I'm telling you, this kit has amazing detailing. I mean, these parts are so small, and yet they replicated all of them. Really makes for a fun build, if a little bit frustrating just trying to get your hands on these tiny parts. Alright guys, right now I'm working on trying to line up this center brace here that the hood is supposed to attach to, but I'm finding that there is a little bit of a fitment issue here. As you can see, the brace, when you install it, at least on this kit, it's hanging up a little higher than it should. That's not a problem because you can glue it down and that'll be fine there. Now, what I'm finding is an issue is that the two nubs here that are supposed to hold up the hood, which are not really necessary because the hood is held up fine with just the edges of the nose and the windshield header. You can see here how the hood, let's just move this out of the way. Now the hood actually fits pretty well without the brace in place, but you have to put that on there because it's a nice piece of chrome trim and it just actually looks pretty nice. These little nubs are supposed to slot into the two slots here on the hood, but those little slots don't exactly line up with these two nubs. And what happens is that when you put it down and you try to get the hood to sit on those nubs, this is what you get. You can't get the hood to exactly line up with those two little nubs, and if you do, it raises up above the nose and doesn't give you that clean look that you get without those nubs there. So what I'm going to do is I am going to snip those off as if not really necessary. As you can see, the hood sits pretty snugly on there without them, and we'll see how we get as far as fitment goes, because right now I'm really not happy with the way that looks. So we're going to give that a shot and then we'll see what happens. Okay, now I've cut the nubs off of both sides and you can see that the hood has a much better fit than it did previously. Is it perfect? No, but with a car that comes in this many parts, I think it's really not bad, except for when I, drop it off my little homemade turntable here. My other turntable's on the other side there, and I was just too lazy to go get it. Now, you also have the option of gluing the hood in the open position. I don't know if I want to do that. I haven't made that decision yet, but I am thinking about it. And oh no, I think I just knocked something off. I think I knocked off my throttle cable. Yes I did. Looks like I'm gonna have to make another one. Easy enough, it's just a simple wire. So there you go, guys. That pretty much takes care of our hood fitment issues. And our current progress on this build. It's getting close to being done. All of the major assembly is done now. It's just all ornamentation. I'm very happy with it. It's not perfect, far from it, as there are quite a few paint flaws and errors that I made in assembling this kit, because it's my first time doing a kit that's this involved. But I'm really enjoying it, and my next one will definitely work out much better. Alright guys, that's it for this little update on this build. I hope you guys are following along and are interested, because it's pretty soon it's going to come to reveal time when the kit is done and we get to see the entire thing together in its glory. So remember, don't forget about what's going on out there. I know it's not tops in the news anymore, but that doesn't mean that it's still not a tragedy. Alright guys, let me give you one last look at the sun visors and everything all set up there. Those of you with eagle eyes out there will notice that the sunroof locks are not there because I accidentally knocked them off as I was maneuvering everything else around on this build. So, but that's an easy repair. I'll just have to attach them again. Alright guys, this is it. We're getting to the finish line. I'm really enjoying this now. So I'll see you on the next one.